everyone, welcome back to my channel for another plant tour. This is my second plant tour for the year 2025. So I am going to be showing you the plants that I have in our den or living room area. So I'll just go ahead and get started. The first one you can see here is my Fiddle Leaf Fig. This is a plant that I've had for probably maybe 7 years, and it started off really small. I got it at Home Depot when it was on clearance, and it has been spending its summers and springtime out on my front porch. So this is my Fiddle Leaf Fig. As you can see, she's not perfect. She has some dry edges and things from being here in the house and the dry heat and so on, but it also has been growing a lot while it's been in the house. So I'm really pleased that it's doing so well in the dry heat. All right, and then over here in this area, you can see the snake plants. These are the Masonia snake plants, which are whale fins. And I have an Aglaonema here. I'm not sure of the variety, but it does well here. I have these, if you can see, I use LED lights. This plant likes it, and my fig likes it. All of them do. But this plant here, I tend to chop off the blooms when it starts blooming because I really don't care for them. I just like the foliage. Right here, I have a Adansonii monstera that I've been trying to grow on a moss pole, and it's growing, but it's slow because I probably need to care for it more and give it proper light. This is my Mandula pothos. It's on a little stand that my friend Leslie gave me, and it does fine. It's pretty slow growing for me, but because I don't really it's kind of one of the plants that I've kind of forget about, to be honest. Here's another snake plant. I'm not sure of the variety of this one. I got this one, I think I got this one from Plant and Seed Nursery in North Carolina. And then backing up a little bit, this is one of my Scindapsus plants. And I believe there's a mixture of the Exotica and some other type in this pot. And this is one I've taken many cuttings off of, and it does well. And I share out some parts of it. And then on this table here, we have a poinsettia, and it has, I think this is one of the polka dot plants and some ivy. And one of the kids gave me this arrangement, and it's miraculously doing well. I have another poinsettia at work too that is doing well, but it just hasn't regained its color. So that's that part of the room. And now over here under the TV, I have a couple of my snake plants. And I mentioned on my last video that I am doing better with snake plants, and I am very proud because I usually can keep most plants alive and thriving, but my snake plants have been the ones that I've just struggled with. And I think it's because I was underwatering them. And so now I am being more cognizant of the water that they need. And this plant here, it sets outside, or I put it outside this past summer, and it helped to revive it. But even since it's been back in here during the fall and winter time, it is growing. And I said to myself, let me put this in a more prominent position because I had it tucked away. It wasn't getting enough light. And so you can see this plant is thriving in this area. It gets some light from the window that's right here, which is a western or southwestern window. up above that, you have a Maranta. And this is a Maranta that I combined the silver, what is this called? Silver band, and then the red Maranta. I put them in the same pot together. And I like the look of it together in the pot. Plus, I don't have to water two plants separately. I can just water the one. It has a yellow leaf here. I need to cut this off. I should have my shears in my hand so I can cut stuff when I'm doing the video. Down here, this is my Stromanthe Tria Star. And I did combine it with the Tenanthe plant that I had. Both of these plants used to be larger, and one of them had root mealies, I believe, and the other, I don't know, root rot or something. But anyway, I put them both together, and they seem to do well in this spot. And then here we have one of my other snake plants, and this plant has gone through changes too, but oh, it looks like there's a new leaf there. And I still, like, I have some leaves that, like, you'll have some leaves that die off, but overall I think that I'm doing better with snake plants, and I'm not root rotting them. Now up here I have a Micans philodendron, and I'm constantly chopping this plant back and rooting pieces to give or to sell. And then at the top I have a Raven ZZ, and this Raven ZZ, it has lost some pieces, but it also had a growth spurt at the same time. So it's growing, which is good, because a lot of times for me with ZZ plants, I think because they are like snake plants, they probably need more light than what you would think. So that's probably the issue with this plant. Now, here is my plant shelf that is in the western facing window. And I guess I'll just start here. This is a kind of Dracaena, and I was given this Dracaena for my birthday from the people at Horton's Nursery, a local nursery here. And then right here above that, or behind that, I have an orchid which is in bloom. And back here you can see it is my Albo Euphorbia, or Ghost Euphorbia. And I put it in a nice prominent position too, because it was not really growing. It's growing now. This is Hoya globulosa, and I know it's kind of backlit, but let's see if I can zoom in and show you. It has a little, yep, there we go. It has a leaf there, a new leaf. And I've been struggling with this plant because it has been having leaves just drop off. So I did sprinkle some sulfur treatment on it. Back here, this is Hoya latifolia sulawesi 8869, or GPS 8869. It has a long name. And I know you really can't see how glorious this plant is. Look, the leaves, they are huge. It has a stem going all the way up there, and another new growth coming off. So it is really growing. This is one plant that if you just wait a while and let the roots establish, it will show you something, because it's really taking off now. Now this is one of my Hoya compacta plants, and I used to have a huge one, but it died of mealies. So I'm starting all over again with my Hoya compactus. Here, that's backlit. That is a Hoya Sunrise, and it is on a Dollar Tree reform. And then as I go this way, this is a curly orchid cactus. And I have another larger one in the other room that you probably saw if you saw my last video in the face planter. So this is a nice, easy going orchid cactus if you're interested in that kind of thing. Now here in the window, this is my Hoya Super Silver Croniana. I believe that's what it's called. And this plant is really long. It's been in bloom. It's dropping a lot of blooms everywhere right now. And it is so thirsty. I never knew this plant was this thirsty. I found out through trial and error with this plant, like you have to sometimes. This plant is a very high light plant. It really took off once I put it in the window here. I had it in the dining room for a while, for a long time really. And every time I would water it, leaves would fall off. Now it's in this light and it is so thirsty. I had to put it in a bigger pot. I have it in this clear pot and it has holes drilled in the bottom, obviously, and it's doing well. It does suffer from mealies on and off, but not an infestation, but one or two here and there. Now you can see, if I'll zoom in a little, there is the Hoya latifolia GPS 8869. You can see some of the leaves of it also, and the Hoya Sunrise, the back of that pot. Up here, a couple small plants. These are in no drainage, but I just am very sensitive to how I'm watering them and just pour the water off. This is a sun-bleached, what is this plant called? It's a Hoya, I can't think of it right now. And then another snake plant here that is in, it has really grown a lot in this small planter. And then another starfish plant there. So I need to clean the top of that shelf. I'm very short, so I can't even see up there. I need to get a step stool and deal with that. But anyway, let's move on down. So right here, you can see part of the Hoya Obava. And the Hoya Obava is a very easygoing plant, in my opinion. Mine has lived in this spot for years, and I've done many cuttings from this plant. It has not bloomed yet, though, which I'm kind of okay with that because the blooms do make a mess. But this plant, I've done cuttings. I think I have some in propagation right now. And I really enjoy growing this Hoya Obava. You can't really see it as well from this angle, but it has such thick stems and it puts out these huge leaves. Just beautiful. All right, let me move on. So right here on this shelf, you can see, hi Jake. Hi. What are you doing? Hi, Olive. They're trying to join me in the video. So this is Hoya Wayettii, and this one has bloomed for me. I have some of the long branches tucked back because I like to kind of showcase each plant, but it has some pretty long tendrils on it. And this one has bloomed before. And if I remember correctly, it has like a kind of cinnamon scent to the blooms. Move, Jake. Move out the way. Thank you. All right, and I really enjoy this plant. I have some pictures of it when I've taken it off the shelf, and it is humongous. When I sometimes take them to the sink to get a thorough watering and to check them for mealies and things like that. So that plant is I've had this plant for a long time, for years, and it's one of my plants that I got from Lowe's, and it's still, actually I was getting ready to say that it's still in the original pot, but it is not. It's in a deep terracotta, not deep, but an average size terracotta pot, and it does well. So this is one of my newest Hoya, and this is called Hoya Obava. And I got this plant when I went down to Growing Green Nursery. Let me see if I can get it off the shelf without messing anything up, because this is, I want you to really see this Hoya. This is a beautiful, look at the veins. It is beautiful. It's putting out a new stalk here. I need to check this and see if that's a millie and get that off, but this is a new leaf on here, and then this stem is growing. You can see how dark the leaves come in. So this was one of the plants that I had on my wish list, and I went down to Scott's Growing Green in Nashville, North Carolina, and I got this plant. I was so happy. I got a couple of nice Hoya from him on that day. He has a great selection. All right, moving on. This is a dragon fruit cactus. And I do have a really big dragon fruit. Some of you might have seen that video when I was struggling with putting it in a support. This one I don't intend to put in that type of support because I like the hair look, and they tend to stay small because they're in a small pot. So this is a dragon fruit, and yes, this is the plant that a dragon fruit, the actual fruit that's very expensive, it comes from that. But of course, you know, they are huge cacti when they are mature, and that's how, and they fruit. So in the back, you can see a Hoya Cryptanthus, and it looks a little, I don't know if it's dry. I need to check on that to see if it's dry, but that's what that is back there. Now I'll go down some. And this is my Buroughtail or donkey tail, something like that. And this plant, I have a love-hate relationship with this plant because it grows, like it has some long strands on it. And I think that sometimes I must be like under watering. See those shriveled ones? But what I do is sometimes like this one here that doesn't have any little beads on it, I will toss it back over the top to make the top more full. And then I will, the beads that fall off, I will sprinkle them on the top so they will propagate. You can see that's a new one right there that propagated because I threw some pieces on top. So it's just one of those plants that you can't touch it. Don't move it. Just keep your hands off of it. Because if you touch it, if you bump it, if the dogs mess with it, it's going to lose some of the little sections on it. And yeah, just keep your hands off of it. All right, moving over. And I'll zoom out a little. This is one of my Thanksgiving cactuses, and this one blooms with pink blooms, and I actually had it in this position when it was blooming because it was just beautiful, and it really stood out there. Now that it is finished blooming, I've moved it here, and I do put it outside in the fall so that it can start taking advantage of the dark and chilly temperatures, and it helps it to set blooms. All right, so I'm going to go down a level, and this is my Hoya Crimson Queen. And I'm not going to move this plant around because I'll probably knock some things down, but I just moved this plant to this spot. It was on the other plant shelf. So you probably say, oh, she has another one of those. No, this is the same one. I just moved it to here. And I think that I'm trying to spur a little bit more growth out of this plant. Down below, I have a Hoya Finlaysonii. And this plant hasn't grown since I got it. I got this plant from Plant Canopy. And so it's just in acclimation mode, I think. Here is a kind of Sansevieria, or snake plant, I should say. And it is, I think, a samurai, something like that. It's really pointy, very hard. And then I have this alocasia that I bought from the succulent garden. Ouch, I just poked myself. Ouch. Look at that point. That just poked me. So anyway, this plant here I got from the succulent garden in West Virginia. It's in Charlestown, West Virginia. So if you're near me, then you go there because they have a really good selection. And it's really upsizing. It was a plug that I got from them. And it's really growing. I have it in pond, and it's growing nicely. I did get an alocasia Jacqueline from them also, but it's just a stick now. So I don't know how that's doing. We'll see. All right, right here. So this plant is a Cryptanthus. And my husband can take credit for growing this plant at his job. And I repotted it when he brought it home. And it enjoys high light. So it's still doing well. I was happy to find out that this plant the mother plant does not die off when it pups. So it has the original mother plant as well as the pups. And I can't see, oh, there's the original mother, because you can see it bloomed in there. Those fuzzy brown things are where the bloom used to be. And then it grew, these two pups are at the top. So it is loving life. Now back here in the back is one of my favorite Hoya. It's covered in sulfur right now because I was doing an experiment to see if maybe this plant had mites, and maybe this might spur it to start growing faster if the mites died. So this is a heartleaf, or verticillata heartleaf splash, I think it's called. And it is very splashy, but it also has some sulfur on it at this moment. And then down here, this is a Hoya Sprinkles, and that I got this plant at Home Depot, because you all probably know that Home Depot has been having a lot of small Hoya on their shelves recently. So I took advantage of that and ended up getting, and it's such a fast grow because it's in the Carnosa family. It's a Carnosa. So, all right. So that, I think I showed you everything on this shelf. So now, oh, you can see outside. It snowed. We're having a snow day today. It snowed day before yesterday, Sunday. And we got about 5 or 6 inches, I think. And then, like this morning when I woke up, it was like 6 degrees. What in the world? That is cold. So anyway, we're having a snow day. Let's get back on track. So this is another Maranta. This is my lemon lime Maranta. And it doesn't really cause me any problems or worry. It does get a little thirsty at times. And then right here, I have another holiday cactus. I think this one is also a Thanksgiving cactus. And this one blooms red, bright red. And so it looks really cute when it's in this this red bird planter with the red blooms. So This is a little planter that I got from a thrift store. I love thrifting. All right, then here's another exotica. I love the exoticas in the Scindapsus family. They're just beautiful plants. I can't get enough. I mean, I can get enough, but just looking at them is what I mean, because they're so beautiful. All right, now up here is my Palea peperomioides, and it has come back from when I dropped it on the ground and broke it, and a whole bunch of leaves came off. So I had to restart this plant, and I started it. It's in leca and pon. And this plant is enjoying, you can see the light is right there. So it is a highlight plant, and I just make sure that I keep it watered, and it does well. So before it broke, some of the leaves had gotten to be the size of the palm of my hand. And so I'm hoping that this plant will get back to that. But I'm just grateful that it survived. And some of the babies are in here to make it more full. And what I did was I used chopsticks and different things like that to prop them up, because they were growing crooked. And I wanted to try to make them be more upright. Now back here in the back, this is my red emerald philodendron. And I'm doing better with this plant because you see where it's located. It is way back. So I was neglecting it, and it takes abuse. But you can see, let me see if I can reach this to show you. This whole section right here is not on the pole. The pole goes up, but this is draping down, and it's doing okay. I'm going to leave it like that. I need to take it down, though, and clean the leaves and so forth, but it's all right. And here is one of my Brazils over here in the corner. It does fine. Last one back here. This is my Mikado snake plant. And I'm pretty sure you can't really get the gist of this plant because the peperomioides is blocking it, but it does well. I remember to water this plant, and it's satisfied. Now, let me move you around this way. And this is my Monstera Peru, and that sits on our cedar chest that serves as our table. And this plant gets light from the window there. And it does just fine. I hope that you have enjoyed this short plant tour of my living room area. Thank you so much for watching my videos. Please leave a comment, like, and subscribe. Please share my videos if you're interested in doing that. And I hope that you have a great day. Bye.